Vice Chair and a committee member since 2020, but she's been helping out with UBC for much longer than that. She's a botanist and geographer who has been campaigning for nature since the 1980s and part of an emerging conservation movement through groups that include Greening Australia, CREEPA, which is Keating River Residents Environmental Protection Association, and Main Care Australia. So Colma's going to be talking about UBC submissions, our plan for a submission subcommittee, some of our recent submissions and what we've got on our website.
Thank you. Thank you everybody, particularly coming in on a Sunday, and I was just going to do, you know how people talk about photo bombing? Well, I think this is a sort of photo bomb. Nothing so much to do with submissions themselves, but it really is very much a call out, a huge call out to our community conservation volunteers, to their partners, their kids, their grandies, their friends, their extended family and their neglected ones. Got one here with me. Without you, we would not be able to do what we do for the environment, for community conservation, for our local groups, for our local patches and or our UBC. This includes key time spent investigating and responding to proposals and submissions, which is what we're focusing on today. So please pass on our mega thank you to all those people in your lives.
So this actually works?
Oh, yeah. Oops. Just a few quick things about UBC submissions, just acknowledging Felicity Bairstow, who reminded us, if you're not at the table, you're probably on the menu. So that's part of the reason why we all put so much effort into getting our voice heard in these important things. As volunteers this year, UBC has averaged more than 2 submissions or consultations per month. And when we hear from Marg, there's some little snippets in her presentation, her story, that talks about the power of the number of submissions as well. And I went to Cons Council's AGM yesterday, and a number of you were there too, and they did a whopping 46 submissions in the last financial year and 13 appeals, and that's just the EPA ones. On top of that, they did another 23. Amazing effort. They do have staff employed, which is fantastic. We're flexible as we work with member groups. The sorts of things we do is we either do workshops, like the native vegetation policy for the framework when that came out, or we work sometimes with subsets of our member groups. So there might be river groups or foreshore groups or coastal groups or wetland groups. So rather than going out to the whole we might go out to the whole membership, but then we'll actually target those groups, and we work in a little hub, I suppose. Specific sites is another way that we work with member groups, or we have member group requests. So member groups are also the eyes and ears, as we all know, out there about things that are happening. And I think back to when Sandy last year went through the local government stuff, and it's been reinforced today, the importance of getting in early when some of that bigger planning stuff's being done. The next step that we're doing is, we certainly know that Marg and Mary have been doing more than a significant amount of submissions over the decades. What we're doing is we're forming a submission subcommittee. So what we're wanting to do is to see if we can entice some of you to come and join that group, and not necessarily have to be on it all the time, but come and go even. So we're looking at options there, and Christine will follow up with that at the end. Every time we do a submission, we end up, you may or may not know, we do circulate it to our members and things as we're developing them, but we also put it up on our website. So there's a fantastic, it's under the resources on our website, an amazing collection of information there. And I should keep this in my hand. On it, when you look under resources, it's submissions and appeals, and then there's the list of the ones that we've been doing this year. If you click on those, you'll find our submissions, and often they're things you can reuse again. They're details you could pick up again and use in a different submission. And last but not least, the sorts of things I've certainly been busy with this year is trying to bring together and not lose all the great effort that people have done. And so a few examples are references and resources on our own internal system, we have started building up a list of references in a sort of, so you can go in and choose against whether it's coastal or whether it's wetland to get some detail. And thanks, a big shout out there to Sue Conlon, who's not with us, she's away, but she's been doing a lot of that. Capturing the knowledge and experience and the effort of the years gone by, and thank Robin College, who's been helping with that. And that's just pulling out the key comments of some of those submissions. So grabbing the stuff about Bush Forever, some stuff about offset, some stuff about threatened ecological communities or climate action, things like that. But again, so we're not losing it. We're not having to sit down and reinvent the wheel every time we do a submission. That's me.